And it seems COVID is making a comeback, Lewis. Where's your mask?
It isn't making a comeback. And this is, you know what, I don't even want to discuss this story. Goes in the file of totally boring, unnecessary stories. I shouldn't say that because you're sitting here discussing it, but people like, what it is it's in the Telegraph. It says that around 2.3 million people in the UK now have COVID, right? Whatever that means. What does it mean, have COVID? Are you in a hospital? Are you coughing yourself to death?
You're not.
You're not. You're not. And it's up up by 32% from the previous week. Okay? So maybe it's up even 50%.
So more people have got a mild cold.
More people have got a mild cold, which is really the flu, which we can't call it the flu. And what matters is how many people are dying of this. And we don't know because they're dying with it or of it, they're around it.
But even those numbers are way down on where we were a few months ago.
They're way down. 20 people a day, according to the ONS statistics, are dying.
Which is very sad, but as you said, that's with or from COVID.
Well, we don't know those people, so they might not be.
And we didn't seem to make the calculation. No one got the memo that before the pandemic, people very sadly died every day.
They died.
We were unaware of that, weren't we?
Yeah, I thought lockdown made us all immortal, so nobody would ever die again.
Yeah, and the vaccine.
Because apparently, if you stay inside, right next to the fridge, watching Netflix all day, it bestows you with incredible health qualities.
Yeah.
And we don't now have an epidemic of obesity in schools and in workplaces. Well, it's lucky Lewis is carb free, but there's now people there's mental health issues as well.
Correct, and of course economic destruction. I mean, Leo, I agree with Lewis, that in terms of this discussion about COVID, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. In other words, we reflect this story because it's in the papers, but we don't want to talk about it because the media, in my view, have oversold the threat of COVID for 2 years anyway, with frenzied calls for lockdowns from most of the main TV channels and some of the papers as well. And I feel like when I read these stories, here we go again. You've got influential TV presenters getting COVID, doing viral videos saying, oh, God, if you're vulnerable, you better stay home. This particular presenter made a joke saying sort of lock up your daughters or something. A Freudian slip, I think.
Who was this?
Jeremy Vine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a colleague and friend. Yeah. And godfather to 2 of my children. But we go skiing together every year and he's a very good kisser. But no, the bottom line is, you know, that, and I've got no problem with, he's a great broadcaster.
But it wasn't unwanted.
But I reject, and I actually tweeted about it during the week, can we have a ban on people announcing on Twitter that they've got COVID? Because it feels like the subtext of that is we need measures again.
Yes, and it's also a bit of attention-seeking because you get, but no one's, very few. Who knows who's got... You know what? If the death rate, if the mortality rate goes up by 25%, that's only 5 extra people dying.
But also, I mean, can I say, but unfortunately I'm quite hardcore on this one, Leo, but notwithstanding the numbers now, we're done. The economy has been devastated by the COVID measures, this attempt to control a seasonal respiratory virus, which in my view has failed. There's no noticeable difference on graphs between countries that locked down hard and those that didn't. I'm over COVID. For me, it's like, if cases go up, what are we going to do? Borrow another 100, 200 billion pounds? Shall we have 20% inflation? Shall we damage more kids, close more schools? Where does this end?
Well, the next story, funnily enough, is about that. So Boris Johnson has refused to definitively rule out more COVID restrictions because virus cases and hospital admissions appear to be rising. But I say appear because they look like they've trebled. COVID admissions have trebled over the past month to 1,200 a day. But this has to be seen in the context of only a fraction of these are actually ill with COVID. The vast majority of them, they're saying they're hospital admissions with COVID, which makes you think somebody's getting COVID, coughing and spluttering, falling over. Somebody phones an ambulance, they get rushed in. No, they're going in with, a sprained ankle or, temporary amnesia or whatever it is. And then they run the COVID test because it's a hospital, so you've got to do a COVID test.
And 2 million people have got, too many people got COVID.
And it turns out they've got COVID, but it's not actually the thing that's making them ill.
But also,
the deaths are also very low.
Leo Kearse, stand-up comedian and man about town. Here's the point. Even if cases rise, what more are we going to do? I mean, are we seriously countenancing future lockdowns? or mask mandates. Will the public swallow that? I don't think they will.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, if it merges with the bubonic plague, you know, the bubonic plague goes airborne instead of transmitted by gerbils, then yeah, we'll lock down. But this is just, at the moment, the death rate is the same as seasonal flu. And obviously that's bad.
Yeah, but you see, if I was Prime Minister,
we don't
I would...
lock down. We don't lock
of,
down for seasonal flu.
Leo, and Lewis, I'm sick of politicians saying, well, we'll just keep these emergency powers in case they're needed. If I was Prime Minister, I'd be like, no, take these powers away. I will, as Prime Minister, not inflict any further damage on the country.
Well, they want to keep the powers. You know how it is. It's once you get a power, you don't want to give it away.
Yeah, like income tax was temporary 200 years ago.
Yeah, every single tax, every single imposition was temporary. Taking your shoes off at the airport back in 2001 was temporary. Marriage was temporary.
Yours was.
Mine was. And
can I just say her loss though?
No. The longer it's taken, I've got. Anyway, the point is, listen.
You don't look well. Have you got COVID?
You know what? I'm about to cough.
I interrupted you, but what were you going to say? I mean, do you think second time round? No, it's not second time round, is it? Fourth or fifth time round? Do you think the public will put up with any future scaremongering when it comes to the virus?
Yes, I do. I never underestimate the stupidity of the public, whatever country you're in. Even in America, my country, the greatest country in the world, people are watching this. Except for the
lived in Peckham.
And those people also, I hate to say it, everybody you meet, everybody.
I think it's time for you to accept that Britain is your country.
It is my country.
Pledge allegiance to the Union Jack.
No, I'm not going to. At least I want to be somewhat distant from the place.